Welcome to the PSR YouTube channel. Hey, I love YouTube. YouTube's awesome. It's awesome. You should become a YouTube creator. Totally. This video will get monetized. Yes.
Whoa, yeah. We're having lots of family fun now. Whoa, yeah. None of these are real guns now. Whoa, yeah. Also got a Patreon, the link is in description. Got some merch too, yeah, you know you wanna get some.
Thank you for being patient. I think we've stroked the algorithm enough for today. The video starts in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of PSR. Today we're doing a little bit of a shorter video, shorter compact format, and here, fittingly, we have a compact Glock clone made entirely by Strike Industries. So everything you see on this pistol, except for the light, is made by Strike Industries. This is their Strike Arms Compact G19 frame. It is a frame that comes with the lower parts kit installed, and it's got some enhancements to it. We're gonna see how this thing shoots and talk a little bit about it and compare it with some other frames. But very first thing to do, as always, we gotta put a mag through it. This is the Strike Industries mag with their extension. So we really got everything on here, Strike Industries, like I said, including this Seeker optic. Let's give her shit, eh? Nice. Very nice. All right, let's talk a little bit about it. Before we get started, I gotta thank the channel sponsor for PSR, and that is Aves Engineering. Guys, in addition to supporting this channel, they make great rails. If you wanna get railed and you have a DIY project, particularly a squirted glizzy, Aves is who you should go to. They also make machine locking blocks for Glocks, so if you just want a nicer locking block in your Glock, then definitely check out Aves. They also got a ton of Mac uppers and Mac parts, so if you're a Mac 11 guy, you're gonna like Aves. Never in a million years, use PSR for 10% off your entire order from Aves. Tell them PSR sent you. Thanks, Aves, for sponsoring this channel. Strike Industries, known for making a bunch of different accessories for various gun platforms, has finally decided to come out with a firearm, and this is the Strike Arms division of their company. The red dot, the frame, the slide, the barrel, even the magazine, all Strike Industries. One of the things that Strike Industries did a couple years back that was pretty cool is they made an 80 frame. I really like the ergos of that frame. Right now, this is exclusively available at Primary Arms, and it's about 149 bucks. That is, you know, roughly the cost of an OEM frame if you got the lower parts kit with it. But the cool thing about this is it's got some enhancements, and we'll talk a little bit about those right now. So, of course, it comes with a pre-installed lower parts kit. It's got an enhanced grip angle for a more natural point of aim compared to the OEM Glock. It's got this kind of more aggressive stippling from the factory, which is nice. It's got a longer beaver tail here on the back to prevent slide bite. Some people do get slide bite. I don't with the standard Glock, but it is nice that they do feature that longer beaver tail. It's got a double undercut here on the trigger guard, which is really nice. A lot of people do modify their Glocks and do that, but this just comes like it from the factory. It's got a raised shelf to guard slide lock lever from accidental engagement, which is cool. It's kind of almost got like a little mini gas pedal, but it doesn't protrude out too much. It's got a Picatinny accessory rail, which we have a goon beam mounted to, which is an awesome light, more powerful than the TLR1, but it is the same footprint, so you can use TLR1 holsters with this light, and it's got a low profile integrated flared magwell as well. So some nice enhancements compared to an OEM Glock. I wanted to compare some Glock frames with this thing, including a squirted one. It's kind of interesting. Everyone's got a different take on the Glock frame design. The Gen 3 design, the patent expired on it, so a lot of people making Glock clones, and this is nothing new, but I thought we would compare them and just see how it differs with this Strike Industries Strike Arms compact frame. So first up, we got our GST9 frame. We got the double undercut on the Strike frame versus the GST9. This little lip here is nice to add a little bit of grip versus the GST9, which doesn't have it. This is also a little bit bigger of a grip like size-wise, so it's easier for me to grab the strike frame. This is our PSA dagger. I actually really do like the ergos and the way this feels. It's got that really aggressive little lip there for your middle finger. The strike frame definitely has more grip to it out of the box with that factory stippling versus your dagger. Now the biggest competitor I would say to this frame is probably the SCT frame. This is an Anderson one, but it's an SCT frame essentially. This is gonna be probably what most people go with, either this one or this one. I don't know how much the SCT frame costs with the lower parts installed. Take on these are very similar with this cut here on both sides, kind of where your thumb would rest, and the stippling, and this has aggressive stippling on it. The only difference is this is really a little bit bigger of a grip versus this has got a little bit thinner profile. If you have smaller hands, I think you're gonna like the strike one more. Very similar, and we do have these like ribs here, and it is just a straight flat area here versus that little recessed area for your middle finger. So I'd say this is probably the biggest competitor. Now we do have a Strike Industries Seeker red dot and slide on this frame, and I do think shooting these side to side would be interesting, so we're gonna try that. Next up, going to the least expensive probably, is the CA19 from Combat Armory. Very, very inexpensive frame, and it's pretty good, honestly. It's more resembling the OEM Glock style, except without the Gen 3 finger grooves. With the lower parts installed, I think these are like 60 to 80 bucks. It's a pretty cheap alternative. Next up, I thought we would just bring our little squirted pink Glock frame, which has the 8-bit really aggressive stippling, just to try it out. So we're gonna try this thing out. This thing's a classic on the channel. We love this thing. And lastly, but not least, we have the chunky ass Gen 3 Glock. We've got a Marconi Armory slide on here. It's a Glock. I don't have to say much more, but I do want to show you, this is a normal TLR1 HL, which is a great light, but next to the Goon Beam, it's pretty crazy how much this blows it out of the water. So like, I'm gonna just point it towards the ground. So here's the TLR1. It's decent, and this is daylight. And then now look at the Goon Beam. Look at how much brighter that is. And it's much more direct focused beam. So if you're looking for a light and you like the TLR1 HL, I think you're gonna like the Goon Beam, honestly. Max Candela. All right, let's shoot the Glock first, and then we'll shoot the Strike Arms frame just to see some differences here. Gen 3 Glock frame with the Strike extension here, and our Strike slide with the optic. I wanted the optic to kind of compare the two. Let's shoot the Glock first. All right, now let's try our strike frame. I definitely feel like the follow-up shots are easier on the strike frame. Finish out the Glock here. Yeah, the fact that I can kind of stick my left hand thumb in this groove, it's a bit better. Let's try the SCT next. All right, next up we got the SCT frame, and we're gonna shoot them back to back against the strike here. All right, strike frame now. These two, like I said, visually very similar, and they perform very similar. If you have a little bit smaller hands, I think you're gonna like the strike frame more. If you have bigger hands, you might like the SCT a bit more, a little bit more purchase. And it's a little bit unfair because we got that mag well, but I do want to try doing some mag changes with the strike and see how it does. All right, 1R1 with the Strike Arms frame here. See how I can do a mag change. Not too bad. One thing I do notice about this versus some of the other frames, and you could always get an aftermarket magazine release, but the magazine release, it doesn't protrude that much, which for some of you, you might love that. For me, I've never run into issues of accidentally hitting the mag release while I'm shooting. If you like a low profile, thinner design, then you'll like that, but I personally like the mag release to be sticking out a little bit more. You can see the mag release sticking out a little bit more on our OEM Glock, so you really kind of have to give it a good push with your finger when you're reloading. That's something that you don't necessarily have to do with an OAM Glock. All right, now we got our combat armory frame. Just gonna see how this feels next to the other one. Not bad. Feels very much like a Glock versus some of the other doodads on the strike frame. Nice. Still a little 1R1. Not bad. I mean, if you can run a Glock, you can run pretty much any Glock frame. But I do appreciate the ergos of this strike a little bit more, honestly. Fits my hand pretty well. All right, next up we got our dagger frame. We're gonna try this thing out. PSA dagger with a strike slide on it. Look at that forward ejection. It's not the fish gun, but we're doing forward ejection with this. That's odd. One thing about Gen 3 Glocks is the ejection can be a little wonky. Actually, it'd be interesting to see what kind of ejector we have in our strike frame, because this is the standard Gen 3 style Glock ejector. Let's check out the strike here. Yeah, so they've changed the ejector to the Gen 4, I think, ejector in there. So that is a better design, more consistent ejection. Props to Strike Industries for doing that, because the one that's in the dagger here, it's the original Glock style, and it makes some pretty wonky ejection, and those are going forward of the muzzle, which is just a little distracting when you're shooting. One thing I was noticing is it's got these recesses in the takedown levers, and it's a little hard to pull down the takedown lever compared to an OEM Glock. So that's kind of like my only critique on this one. I do, like I said, really like that they have that updated ejector in there. Visually, I think they nailed it. The aesthetics are pretty sick. I do really like the way that looks. Well, we got a few mags to test in this just to see how it runs with different mags. Let's try a couple of different mags. All right, P-mag, we've already run it, but I'll just finish this one out. P-mag. All right, let's try our Amend 2 mag. It's kind of fully erect there. Let's see how it does. It's in there. All right. Oh, Amend 2 mags. The AR mags usually are fine from Amend 2, but the pistol mags I've had mixed luck with. So the Amend 2 mag, it's not loving that one, but I think that's a mag issue. So we got an ETS now. See how the ETS does. I don't love ETS mags, but we'll see how it runs. That one did fine. Next up, we got our squirted PLA mag. Love that. See how the squirted mag runs. Squirted mag ran great. More reliable than Amend 2, unfortunately, for them, but gotta love squirted stuff. All right, so some conclusions on the Strike Arms frame. So yes, it's just a Glock. It's a Gen 3 G19. Nothing too special about it, but it is really cool that Strike Industries is now making firearms. If you are looking for a new, kind of more modern, updated frame feel, then this is the way to go, in my opinion. I think it's really between this one and the SCT as far as my favorites. Between all of the comparisons that we made, I really do like the SCT frame, but this just fits my hand just a tiny bit better because it's a little bit slimmer on the grip, and I do really like the grip angle and this double undercut. Only critique here is the magazine release is just a little bit too low profile for my liking. You can easily hit the mag release, but if you have your hand up against here, it's a little bit harder to hit the mag release. So what I would do if I was going to upgrade this is I'd just get a little bit of an extension, a little bit of an extended mag release on here, and it would be perfect. If you look at the standard, Glock, this is an old design and it is outdated and it's a block in my hand. I do not shoot this nearly as well as I shoot this. Now, as far as holster compatibility, I think this is not compatible with all of the Gen 3 19 Glock holsters, but I think they're working on that right now. I really like the red dot on here. I think this is a really inexpensive red dot. I think it's like around $100 and it ran great. So definitely check out that red dot. I would say it's a pretty good value. If you're looking to get a new Glock frame, check out the Strike Arms frame. And thanks for watching another little episode of PSR. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. And if you want to support me on Patreon, you could do so. We did go through quite a bit of 9mm and every little bit helps. So I really appreciate you guys watching. There's early access to content and access to my music. If you really want to go big and spend the big bucks, you'll be in the credits of the end of the video. So thanks again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. I gotta take a piss. Bye. Here we go, ready?
Yeah.
I fucking jammed it. Let me try it again. Gotta get my hands out of the way. Here we go.